Owen Brown pulled his old green truck to a stop across the street from the roadhouse just outside Columbus, Ohio. Hardly surprising for a Saturday night, even at this early hour, the parking lot was packed full of trucks and a few random cars. It was a good thing. Tim and Ari had been kind to him and his, and the two owners could use the business after a long off-season. Owen slipped from the old truck, his boots landing on uneven ground yet holding firm. Well-muscled with experience beyond his 26 years, he moved to the back of the covered bed. Owen turned and pulled open the shell over his truck's long bed. The tinted glass flipped up and out of his way. The tailgate fell open with a familiar rocking clang. Owen moved with a fast, practiced motion, sliding the long white cooler, heavy with a fresh load of ice, from the bed of the truck. It took effort, but after years tending bar and lugging endless musical equipment, coupled with a life always in motion, the ice and cooler were light work. Setting the cooler on the ground, closing the tailgate, closing the shell, Owen didn't bother to lock up the bed. There wasn't anything in the back anyone would want. He picked up his load of ice and headed across the street. He was not fast, wasn't slow in making his climb around back of the semi-remote roadhouse. He moved to the screen door without problems, the weight of the large cooler filled to the brim with heavy ice, a burden, but one he had accepted when he told Tim he could make the run to collect the much-needed supply for the current patrons. Young Max had offered to join him. The 22-year-old was good company at times, but as of late, the kid had started to talk a little too much. Max also enjoyed practicing his card tricks. Tonight, with the bar filling up, Owen had been wanting some quiet time before the long night of serving drinks and dealing with drunken customers. Owen's booted foot caught the aluminum border of the screen frame that didn't sit perfectly flush any longer. He shifted the white cooler as he opened the door and walked in. The difference in sound from outside to in was noticeable and grated on his nerves as he passed into the back of the kitchen. The Roadhouse was a 24-hour bar with its open sign never turning off. And that was a good thing for Owen and his crew. But it also meant there was a fair amount of work to be done, and customers always came first. "You got the ice," Daphne greeted with cheer. "Good thing we're getting slammed out there. Ari will need some up front. She's getting low. I heard her asking Tim when you would be back when I went up there last." Owen saw the faint flush of her cheeks and couldn't help the tingle of fear as Daphne forced herself to look away. The innocent crush was fading, but not gone. Not yet. "Got it, thanks. How's everything going back here?" Owen asked, trying to keep the question innocent, neutral. The difference in age wasn't huge, and yet the difference in life and maturity was vast. He'd hoped her crush would have faded by now. Daphne was young, only 17, and vulnerable on more than one level. On weekends and nights, he always tried to keep her in the back where she was safe, and that meant she was the permanent dishwasher for as long as his people stayed here or until she turned 18. Not that 18 was too far away, thank the Lord. Daphne had only been with his group for a couple of months, and she was fitting in nicely. She didn't cause problems and was willing to throw in a helpful hand. If only she would stop blushing every time he walked into the room. "At least she isn't trying to flirt with you anymore." "Oh, you know, dishes come in dirty, they leave clean, same old, same old. I have no idea how Ari and Tim manage this place on nights like this before us. It's crazy out there. I think there might even be a line outside," Daphne said. Setting the cooler down, Owen snatched the empty, clean, white plastic ice cream container and began shoveling fresh ice into the old brown ice machine. Its cooler still worked, so the ice he was putting in wouldn't melt. Maybe tomorrow he could find time to see if he could fix the water pump so trips to the 24-hour gas station were no longer necessary. "No line outside, not yet. Based on the number of trucks, we'll have to start holding people back soon." Owen looked up and couldn't help but notice Daphne was far too skinny. She wore skinny black jeans around a too small waist, and the material was starting to look loose. Basic white sneakers she somehow kept clean, and a deep red, almost burgundy sweater that was cut to ribbons in the back. The black tank underneath thankfully didn't allow for much skin to show whenever she walked into a room. His concern grew as she continued to wash. She was smart and talented, but for some reason she would forget to eat. It had taken him far too long to notice the habit as he had tried to let her crush dissipate. Now her lack of eating was another concern on his list that never seemed to stop growing.